Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Carlos D. In this video, you're going to see me at the drawing table creating some art. The video is not intended to be instructional, but informative and entertaining. If you learn something from the video, then that's awesome. Joining me today for a casual conversation is my cousin Anthony. Anthony, thanks again for taking the time to
Yeah,
hang
no
out.
problem.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Here we
So
are.
let's talk some more music, man.
Mhm.
Specifically, the 80's. Uh, Yourself being a teenager around that time. How old were you once you started? Or
I,
what year
no,
was it
no.
in high school?
In high school, let's see, at about 86, 87.
Man, that's
But
prime
I
time
think
80's.
I got into music maybe 84, probably in junior high. I was more like, maybe, let me see, we used to go in maybe seventh grade, so around there. Seventh grade, I started listening to more music. Got in more into the radio. My sister had a radio, and whenever she wasn't using it,
What
you know,
station do you remember?
she used to listen to more, I guess, the pop station. But I tend to sway myself more to like K rock, like the early K rock at that
Okay.
time. So I started listening to that, and then KNAC was around too, so it was more like a heavier rock music. So
Like what
I
bands?
kind of was introduced to both. They had a lot of like Iron Maiden and stuff like
Okay,
that,
okay,
which ACDC stuff like that, which was not really what I liked. But they also played Motley Crue,
okay.
Def Leppard, and that was my first album. With I got really I kind of liked a little bit of everything, but for some reason, Def Leppard kind of like called me more, you know.
Awesome.
So I remember I actually remember going to Hunter Park,
Uh huh.
and they had that's the closest record store they had. I remember going to buy their first album, one of the first, not their first album, but my first album.
Okay.
I think it was Pyromania, and I remember I bought it, and then I was sitting at the bus stop just staring at the cover over and over, just looking at it and go, man, flipped it over, and just reading everything, where it was recorded, who recorded
Oh
it, and it was
man,
just like, and I couldn't wait to get home and just to put it on, and that
that's
was
so
like,
awesome, dude.
yeah, it was something I really really cared for, It's like,
That's a big missing piece, in my opinion, about modern music, is that unfortunately the fans don't get to enjoy album artwork
yeah, it
and
was a big deal back then too.
have a booklet with the
Hmm.
lyrics, so that you're sitting down and you're experiencing the song,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
just audibly, but with the ideas of really understanding what words and how they're put together, man.
That was a big
How,
deal. That was a big
how
deal.
was that one? Did it fold out?
I don't
That
remember.
album?
I don't think that one had a cover. I mean, I don't think that one had a booklet.
Oh, okay.
I
Were the lyrics on the back, though?
No, no, it was just.
Okay.
I think it was just the album cover,
Okay.
and then the back had another kind of a picture of it. But then I bought the second album was Depeche Mode. It was
Sweet.
yeah, and it was Speak and Spell, which is like when People Are People came out,
Yeah.
and that one had the lyrics.
Oh
So
man.
that one became more closer to me for that reason because it had the lyrics. And I was like, oh my God, and some of the lyrics were kind of off, I didn't understand what they're
Yeah.
persuading, but they're trying to say within that music, But then the lyrics became my interpretation.
Sure.
So
Sure.
whatever the music said, it kind of interpreted to
Yeah.
my vision, So
Yeah.
it was
You
kind of
related
cool.
it to your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of like opened it more, and then I kind of appreciated it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so then the third album I bought was Motley Crue, and it was Too Fast for
Awesome.
Love, and they also had the lyrics in it,
Oh,
and it had a little booklet. But then by then it was already CDs. So I
okay.
bought a
Okay.
CD. I bought CDs for that one. So I was in the transition of both when they were doing albums and stuff. So
Okay.
I had a bunch of albums, but also I had a bunch of CDs. But I remember my dad took me and he was buying CDs, whatever. And I said, "Hey, Dad, can I get one?" He's like, "Yeah." Bought Molly Crew one.
The CD.
The CD.
Awesome.
Yeah, CD. And I remember, and they had the lyrics. And I was like, "Oh, cool, man! Finally, So I started reading that one too, and that kind of like opened my mind to more like that heavier rock, but not too heavy, but
Still the big hair band.
yeah, the big hair band.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of my a lot of my library was big hair bands.
Cool, cool. Yeah, that era.
hair bands and stuff like that. And then
That was fun, man.
a lot of a lot of new wave stuff too. So
Okay.
it transitioned to both. And, I was listening to both at the same time. I never really had like focus on one or the other.
Okay,
it was
that's
like
cool.
yeah. So and that's kind of like the friends I used to hang out with, because some of them were like strictly just heavy metal, and then some were like into just new romantic music.
Sure.
But I kind of blended in between both, and like
Okay.
I didn't really want to dress one or the other either,
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of blended into both, and it was kind of cool.
Man,
I had a good
that's
time.
how interesting that you say I didn't want to dress a certain way, because even in my era, right, in the 90s, you can tell what kind of music someone listened to by the way they dressed.
Oh, they were specifically.
There was the break dancers that listened to hip hop. We used to dress a certain way.
Oh.
The 80's crew, whatever, they used to dress a certain way. I think for the gothic stuff, I think it's always kind of in the same.
Yeah.
They're still.
Oops.
It's all good. They still they dress that
Yeah,
way.
that's more
I don't think it'll ever fade
specific
away.
to what it is. Yeah, more obvious.
And but
So they were actually dressing.
yeah,
way,
like you would dress a certain way in a way according to the music that you listen to.
Yeah.
And in even the 80's crew, like you kind of especially at least in my era, like the Spanish rock
Okay.
was big, right? Maná, Enanitos Verdes,
Yeah.
La Ley.
I got into that kind of late, but I did get into
Okay.
it. Yeah.
You can tell, at least in my era, they were called the Rebels.
Okay.
right?
Yeah. I remember the road. Yeah, at the time.
You would listen to the deep house music, and I was all into it, man. It was that dance music was just so awesome. But like you could tell, like, oh, you know
You're
that
from there, yeah.
you know that they go party and they go to to clubs because of the way they dress.
Yeah.
And it was fun, man. It was a fun time, dude.
Yeah, there was times like at least with our time, if you wore like a concert shirt or something, and they see you with that concert shirt, then you're just like, okay, that's you.
Automatic.
And like, no, man, I do other stuff. So I had a couple of concert shirts, and I wouldn't wear them to school for that reason, because I was like, nah, I don't want them to just pigeonhole me into one certain specific time of music, because I liked everything, and but there was times, obviously you would hang out with certain people, and they're like, oh, you like them, you like you were saying the gothic,
Yeah.
but it's like, no, I just just hanging out with them today and just just talking and whatever.
Sure.
We related to something and they just told me to hang out, whatever. But yeah, there was different times with the dress. I guess when you dress made a big difference. And I remember with Spanish rock, it took me a while. I really didn't listen to a lot of Spanish radio. But then I moved in with one of my girlfriends, and her cousin used to listen to Spanish rock.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, hey, so you like alternative music? I go, yeah. He goes, well, you never heard of Maná? And I go, I've heard of them, but I never heard it, right?
Sure.
And then he just went to like Enanitos Verdes and Maldita Vecindad and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, shit, this is just like English, but just in Spanish.
Sure.
And he's like, duh. And I was like, but this is fucking awesome,
Yeah.
And then I went to this club, and they had, it was Rock en Español night.
Yeah.
And dude, the camaraderie everyone had there, it was so different than from like what I was used to. And they would like part of the songs they just turn off and everyone just keeps on singing.
Yeah.
And everyone knew it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is pretty bad. They at least to where I used to go, they didn't do that for English music. And by doing that, you could tell that these people were 100% into that band.
Yes.
And it was like so like such a close community of people that I guess really, really, really care for that music, and it was awesome. I really liked it. And that night when I left that club, I was like, dude, I gotta listen more of this. I mean, obviously it was more because some of the girls I was with, or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't know. It opened up my mind. I was like, thank God I know Spanish, because growing up, my parents talked to me in Spanish, and I spoke both. And so I with my friends, they were from Mexico, and the parents were Mexican, but they grew up here, and maybe the dad or the mom was from here, so they spoke both languages, and so we spoke Spanglish.
Sure.
Yeah. And it was a common thing for me to speak Spanglish, talking English at one moment, and then words or phrases you'll say in Spanish, and it was normal.
Sure.
So it wasn't hard for me to transition to listen to Spanish music. It was.
Awesome.
Some of the words probably I didn't understand or whatever, but for the most part, it was like, and so it opened up a totally different world for me.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe, like, whoa, this is just like, The Cure. but it's just in
Yes,
Spanish. And I was like, oh
yeah.
shit. So my library just blew up.
Awesome, dude.
I was like, dude, I have a whole library to listen to now,
Yeah.
and I have a lot to back up too, because
Yeah.
I felt like I was behind.
Sure.
You know, and her cousin, since he was young, obviously he grew up in El Salvador, so he knew a lot of bands that I never even heard about. So he introduced me to all this stuff, and then lend me all these CDs and stuff. And I was like, dude, I was so into it for, I guess a good 2 years. I was like pretty much just listening to that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so it was I couldn't believe it. It was so awesome. You know, to me it was just another world.
Man, when you said that the DJ would like cut off the song and everybody would continue singing,
Yeah.
and man, that brought a memory, dude.
Yeah.
Because it was like being, if you can imagine being at a concert, but everybody's facing each other.
Okay.
As opposed to facing the stage, right? Because everybody's dancing. So
That's
you
true.
have your couples, or you have your circles of friends or whatever, all dancing, but it's like all the energy is just like built up right there.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows it's gonna happen. Oh, here comes that part of the song. And so be ready, be ready. The DJ cuts it off. Y no me diga, wow, or whatever, bam, and then everybody's the continued dancing and everything. But it's like such a tribal thing, man. Like how we were talking about tribes earlier. It's such a tribal thing that it feels like it, in a way kind of like a chant, but a little bit inebriated, alcohol stuff, people. So the level of participation is even greater, perhaps, because you're not 100% conscious. You're a little bit inebriated, so the emotions maybe are a little bit more open to it.
Yeah.
Man, fun memories, dude.
Yeah.
And that was really, really specific to Spanish rock.
Yeah, because I never experienced that before. So to me, it was new too. I was like, "Whoa, what's this?" It's like they should be doing this in English.
Yeah, man.
It was like I don't know who came up with it, but it was awesome. It was pretty good.
A real fantastic touch, man. Whoever came up with that, somebody needs to do a documentary. Whoever started cutting off the sound so that the fans could sing at the club, man, that was a great touch, dude. Real fun, man.
Yeah, it opened up more appreciation for me for that music, because I'm like, well, these people really got into it like that, And I felt, damn, I've been missing out a lot. I've been missing out a lot. It's like, but it's because like I told you, my sister had the radio, and she's the one that first started like listening to it, and whenever she was at school or doing something else, I had the chance to probably turn it on and whatever.
Cool.
Until I got my own radio, But by the time I got my own radio, I had my own influences, but it wasn't. I never really went to the Spanish part, Spanish music, until later. It was mostly like the music, the Spanish. It was basically what my parents played at the party.
Sure. Yeah.
So the cumbias and merengues and all that stuff. So it wasn't really like stuff I would want to go out and listen to. But when I found out there was music out there that was just like the music I was listening to,
yeah,
it was
dude. No, not to cumbia and merengue.
Merengue
is still the bomb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that brings back to all those house parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Even now, because now they do like those remixes and stuff. And they're still pretty cool and still danceable. But it's like, oh man, that runs the house over there in Hunter Park and stuff like that. So it's like, it brings me back to that time too, which is cool,
Right on, man.
But yeah, it's I still love music, man. It's like it's still a big part of my life, and I think, like you mentioned, it's like the older you've gotten, the more you appreciate the sounds and the lyrics and everything else,
Absolutely. So you went from describing buying your vinyl and then CD. What happened to tapes, man? You skipped tapes, bro.
Cause
did you ever get any tapes?
I got tapes, but I don't remember actually buying tapes, like the whole album tapes.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of went from album. I think tapes were just like I would tape from friends' albums. Oh yeah. And then I'll be like, hey, bring over your album, man. I'm recording cassette. So I recorded cassette and stuff like that.
Cassette. Yeah.
I recorded off the radio rarely. I remember I didn't like it because they come up with the stupid commercial in between.
Sure.
So it pissed me off, so I didn't like doing that. My sister did that a lot.
It's funny, man. It's like the YouTube now.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
You couldn't skip the radio.
Yeah, you couldn't skip the radio, man. So,
that's funny.
But I really didn't. I don't remember really buying a cassette.
Man, dude.
Maybe I had one or two. You would pull out the lyrics and the book.
Exactly. That's exactly why I brought that up.
Yeah, and then they'll start tearing up after a while.
Yeah.
You open them so often. But I remember I kind of skipped that. I remember.
Me, I remember being a freshman in high school, and the first ever album I bought was a cassette.
Yeah, because albums were kind of like
Yeah,
harder and bigger, and you had to actually get a record
kind of
player.
phased out.
Yeah,
And before CDs.
Yeah.
So I had the cassette player, and my first ever album was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Really? Nice.
I only got that based on the cover, man.
Really?
I was just like looking around, and I'm like, God, let me pick up some music. I don't know why. I don't know where the urge came from. I was just like, cool. Well, I'll pick up a tape. I had like, $2 or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pick up
and which cover? There was 2 covers. Which one was it?
I got the one with the cross. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, man, this is cool as hell. Guns N' Roses, that sounds cool. Appetite for Destruction.
No idea who they were?
And I had no idea who they were, dude. And this was probably 94, 95-ish. And I took it home, and man, I played that thing. I was like, man, as soon as it popped, what's the first song? Welcome to the Jungle is the first song on the album, I believe.
Okay.
Ding,
and that's like awesome one,
And I was just like, what is going on, dude? I was like, dude, man, my body was just like, man, this is bad, dude. Ding, 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 yeah, ding, ding. I was like, man, dude, I'm hooked on this thing, man. That still to this day, Appetite for Destruction holds up, man.
Yeah.
That is such a great album, dude.
I can't believe you telling me this. All these years, we've been cousins, and I never talked about you. And I got a whole story with this one.
My homework, Appetite for Destruction was playing. When I would do my math, I would do my science, everything, bro. And my friends would tell me, like, how can you listen to music and do your homework?
Yeah.
I have no idea,
That was my
man.
sister, too.
But I'm just, I have to play that album, and I'm just doing my homework, bam, bam, bam. And man, I love, from then on, I mean, Guns N' Roses was like in my psyche.
No way. I
and
didn't know you were
Use
into
Your
that
Illusions
much.
1 and 2 came out, man, out of this world.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, man, what's your story with Guns N' Roses?
Well, my mom and my sister's my sister wanted to go to one of her high school dances or whatever, right?
Okay.
So I don't remember, maybe I was 9th grade, maybe? I think 9th grade or something like that. So anyways, they were going to go to, my mom was going to go with them to chaperone the dance. So it was the first time I was at my house by myself.
Wow.
And it was the first time I was, there was always like my sister or someone else,
without the parents.
Without the parents.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
But this time I had and then we only had one TV.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I always had to watch what they were watching.
Sure.
And then when it was like, the only time I had freedom was when my mom would go to sleep, my sister would go to sleep, which she would do her homework too really late, and I would have to wait till she leaves. And my dad got home maybe 2, 3 in the morning, so I would have between maybe midnight to 2 in the morning to watch whatever I wanted. And that's how I got into like 120 Minutes. So all that alternative music that was darker.
Yeah.
Love and Rockets, stuff like that. I got into Gina's Jezebel, all that stuff I got into later. But it was for that reason. But going back to before that, they left and it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the afternoon.
Like, man,
so,
you've never had that time.
Yeah, so I was like, now I don't have to watch that alternative stuff. I could watch whatever else is on. Well, they had this group they were going to have live at the Ritz, Hollywood Ritz.
Yeah.
And it was Guns N' Roses.
Ooh.
They weren't really known yet. They were still not even out yet. I think the album wasn't even out yet.
Yeah.
They were still introducing it through MTV. And I remember putting it on. I don't know who they were. I had never heard of them, like you said. And then it starts up. And I still play the live on the Ritz on YouTube because that's the one I would play over and over again. And even what he talks about there during the breaks of the songs, that's still burned into my mind what he talks about there, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in between it.
Okay.
And I still savor that, man. I love that. I can't believe you listen. I mean, we never talked about it, but this was big to me, dude, because I got the album and I played the hell out of it. Yeah, and I recorded on cassette after because I couldn't always have.
You got the vinyl.
Yeah, I got the vinyl.
Who had it? You got it or your friend?
I got it.
Oh,
I still have it,
dude.
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
man.
And I remember I went to Melrose to get it because I couldn't go to Hunter Park or Sammy's. What is it? The Warehouse.
Yeah.
The Warehouse or Tower Records didn't have it yet.
Oh wow.
Didn't have it yet, so I had to go all the way to Melrose. I had to go to Melrose, and I saw it on the wall, and they had the other one, the one with the girl with the machine raping her. It was like a big machine with one eye. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, but that's the back. Yeah. That's
no, that was
the
the front cover
CD.
before. That was
okay.
before.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the first cover.
Oh wow.
And they had to switch it over to make it mass for the mass media.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So they did the cross afterwards. But I remember walking in and he goes, "Which one you want?" And I was like, "Damn, if you got the other one." But like you said, that cover, the way the the artwork was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
awesome. It was like
Yeah,
I liked the way
man.
all the heads were drawn and the
Yep.
cross, and I was like, excuse me. So I went for that.
Dope, man. Awesome.
But now I go, she got the original. But you're young, you didn't know.
Sure, sure.
But I remember I was young. I was, small kid and just asking for that. And same thing. I'm driving home like, oh my god, I couldn't believe I had the Guns N' Roses one.
Man.
But the introduction to me was through MTV, through that live concert.
Awesome. Dude.
And to me, I still listen to the live concert one than the actual album because
Okay.
it's just different and it's
it's
more gritty.
nostalgic
Yeah,
for
and
you too.
I love it,
Okay.
man. It's Live from the Ritz in Hollywood. And
I gotta see that, dude.
yeah, and the way they introduce them, the way they introduce them,
Oh, man.
it's awesome, dude. And that was, I think, for a whole year, like you were saying, that was my album.
Wow.
Listen over and over again. So I don't know if we were listening at the same time or if we crossed over or
Wow.
when was that the actual time you listened. I don't remember because
Oh, okay. For me, it was '94 because we were already up in Palmdale. So I started high school. It was my high school, my freshman year.
no, I was still in Southgate.
Oh no!
I was in
you know
Southgate.
what?
That's different then. I was in Southgate. I remember that. I was in Southgate
Okay,
still.
okay.
So I moved up here '88. So
Oh, you did, yeah. But
Yeah.
your parents, yeah.
so that's
your
when
parents were already
so
up
that's when I had their album '88.
Oh,
88,
sick,
89.
dude.
So by the time we moved up here, one of my first friends I met up here, he was into Metallica, and so he introduced me to more
Okay.
like the Ride the Lightning
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Justice
The
for
Black
All,
Album, okay.
and then the Black Album.
Okay.
I bought the Black Album, but he had the other two, so he introduced me to those, which I thought okay, whatever, they're okay. But when he showed me Justice for All,
Uh-huh.
that one I kind of like, oh shit, this is pretty good.
Okay.
Ride the Lightning was okay, but then the other album was better.
Yeah, I agree.
Just for All was like, dude, when they did one and all that stuff, I was
Yeah.
like, shit, this is good. So then I bought the Black Album for
Okay.
that reason.
And in my opinion, the
That was
Black
CD.
Album is probably the best.
yeah, and I still listen to that one too.
Oh, so yeah, that's a great Metallica
it's
album.
one of the best. Yeah, so I bought the CD for that one, and then obviously give him the cassette, whatever.
Awesome,
So
dude.
I did a lot of that too. But Metallica, I like Metallica, but Guns N' Roses were like. Then I remember I bought both of the CDs at the same time.
The
Usually 1 and 2,
yeah.
yeah. I remember that, and I remember sitting there, and I went to I think it was a West Covina, and I bought it there at the warehouse, and I remember sitting there just looking at both CDs and like, oh shit, couldn't believe it.
I think I did the same thing. I think
Yeah.
I bought both CDs. I'm like, I can't just go with one.
Yeah, one, yeah.
No,
Because a lot of people are like, which one did you get? Both.
yeah, like I got.
What do you mean, which one?
you gotta get both.
Yeah, you
man.
got the gold one or the blue one? No, I got both, man.
That's awesome, dude.
Dude, I can't believe that. Yeah, but Guns N' Roses was a big time in my life, and at that time too. So yeah, like I was saying, I listened to both. At that time, I was also heavily into In Excess.
Okay.
So in my room, I had one side I had Guns N' Roses poster, and then the other side I had an In Excess poster.
Awesome.
And I remember my mom was like, "You can't put nothing on the walls and this and that," because she was all opposed to like putting stickers or nails all over the place. So she's like, "You could put them unless you put them in the frame." I was like, "Frame? Well, people don't do that." I was like, I wanted to have like on the wall, like
Yeah, yeah,
sideways or like
Oh, okay.
So she wanted it all proper and glass
Yeah,
and this and that.
gotcha.
But I had no other choice. That's what she said. Because we just moved into that brand new house, so she's like, "Your dad's gonna get mad if you make holes in it, this and that." So
Yeah.
so all right.
Nails.
So then I'm like, you want me to do that? So I put it. So yeah. So I had it like that. And they're like, friends would come over like, "Damn, you even had it under glass?" It's like, well, that's the only way I could put them. There's no way I'm allowed to put them here at the house. But yeah. So one side of the wall I had In Excess, and then the other side I had Guns N' Roses, and that was a large part of the beginning of my high school life here in Palmdale. I remember that.
Man, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I listened to that a lot. And I remember, I came back from a party, and I bought this leather jacket because it mimicked Michael Hutchins. So it looks like Michael Hutchins, but then I could also wear it like Slash, Because then I also bought the jean jacket that goes in between.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could put that one too, and it's freaking cold out here in Palmdale. So I was like, it kind of works,
work, yeah.
And then that leather jacket I bought in Melrose too, and it was thick, man. It was super thick. It wasn't like the flimsy ones, and that sucker was hot. I couldn't really wear it during the
That's
summer.
a good leather.
Yeah, it was
good leather
dude, it was so
is
thick. It was
warm.
awesome.
Yeah, they're really warm.
I regret actually getting rid of it, but I obviously wouldn't fit me now. But
Yeah, that's all good.
I remember coming home and I'm taking off the jacket, and first thing I always had MTV on, so I was like, turn on the MTV, and they talk about that they found Michael Hutchins dead, and I was like, what? And it was like a big part of my life at that moment. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, what about the music? I was like, like I was like, okay, what did he die or whatever? I was like, but what about the music? That was my first thing. I was like,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
gonna make the songs now?
Yeah.
Like shit. It kind of like chopped off part of my arm. It wasn't
Sure,
my leg,
sure.
but part of my arm. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was a big part because at that time it was like just those two I was really focused on,
Mm-hmm.
and for that to happen, it was like, dude, shit. It kind of impacted me kind of big because it was like one of the artists that I really cared for that actually something happened to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like now you kind of hear it more often, but
Sure.
then it wasn't too
It wasn't
too
like
obvious.
too front line.
Yeah, it wasn't
news
like
and-
Kurt
and
Cobain.
news
like,
didn't
yeah.
spread. Yeah.
So
that's
to me, it
right.
was like, what happened? It was like, and then it was suicide, and then it wasn't suicide. They weren't sure what was going on, but to me, it was just a big part of my life that just kind of went into shock, I guess, in
Yeah,
a sense.
yeah. No, understandable.
I didn't expect that, but yeah, it was really surprising that happened.
That's awesome, man. What's did you have a favorite NSX song?
Too many. There's a lot. I mean, some of the ballads, but some of the faster ones too. But no, there's a lot. There's a lot that I like them. It's just I think most of them are pretty 1 and 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, towards the end, there was a couple that I really care for, but for the most part, it was always a big part of it. I saw the movie a couple times already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have it online.
Oh, man, just check it out.
Yeah, they have it on. I think on Tubi and one of those also.
Oh, okay.
The free streaming. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll come up. It's cool to see the way his life kind of turned out.
It's
there's
a,
two
it's
versions
a
now.
documentary or a movie?
No, there's a documentary. No,
Oh.
there's two. There's two documentaries. One that kind of says that it was accident. Another one it says that it was suicide, and then the movie goes more towards like the accidental.
Okay.
thing.
Kind of like the Doors movie with Val Kilmer.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Documentary-ish.
But they do have the movie itself too.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually made the movie. It took a while because some of the other partners didn't want to release it that way or something. They were against it. But then
Okay.
they had to get approval, so I think it actually went through, and so they actually
Oh.
released the movie. It didn't get a full release, national release, I think, but it did come out.
Okay.
It took a while because I remember they said they were done with it. And they're like, "Well, what's up?" And they took a year or two to actually come out.
Mm.
So, but it actually it finally came out. The last documentary they did actually got nominated for a couple awards.
Really?
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, kind of like justified for them waiting, and trying to get it proper because they were trying to get it, approved, like I said. And
Mhm.
yeah, I got some awards. I forgot what it won for, but I got 1 or 2 different awards for its documentary, not the movie.
I never really. I remember hearing you talk about it in NSX often,
Uh-huh.
or like at family gatherings
Oh,
and
okay.
parties and stuff there. But it never really clicked on me. The band that I would associate with you the
Uh-huh.
most was Duran Duran.
Oh yeah,
When did you get into Duran Duran? I'm assuming
that
around
was
the same
junior
time,
high.
no?
That
Oh,
was
okay.
junior high. That was junior high because my friend was all kind of into it, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to do like a live thing?" Oh, I think it was 84. It was like the Mexican earthquake. There was a Mexican earthquake that happened. I think it was 84.
Okay.
And then he came up with the idea of wanting to do. Oh no, we did. We were younger. We were still. I was into Motley Crue. I kind of got him into it, and we had a family party. I don't know if you were there at that time, but we dressed up as Motley Crue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom had this white. My mom had this white wig, and then I told him, "Well, I have the white wig. I could be the lead singer." So we did this white wig, and then his brother did the drums. I guess our neighbor or something played the guitar, like the basic guitar supposedly, and then he did the guitar. He was like he did the lead guitar. Like,
Okay.
and then we had a family party, and we did it in the garage. And I remember we're like, we need to smoke, so we had a fire extinguisher.
Oh, wow.
And so during the beginning of the song, we filled it up. And the thing we didn't think of is actually that fire extinguisher stays on there.
Yeah.
And so the floor was all white,
Yeah.
slippery, and we were like kind of choking and stuff. So we had to come out of the garage because we couldn't stand so much
Yeah.
smoke supposedly,
Yeah.
But we just kind of tested it. Oh, it comes out. We didn't test it too much.
You don't know the actual.
So we kind
chemical
of messed up. So we had to come out of the garage, and then the family members were like sitting around in front with the seats, and so we had to move them back You know, I think we played like 2 or 3 songs. It wasn't a lot. It was like 2 or 3 songs, and then it was
So
kind of cool. Everyone was like clapping. Oh my god, can we guys go? And we dressed up like it.
Yeah, and you guys were lip syncing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was lip syncing.
So nobody was like actually playing.
No, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, no one actually played, and we just mimicked everything. You know, lip synced everything. And so but it was fun. You know, it was kind of cool. But
Yeah.
then my friend, when that happened for the Mexican earthquake, he's like, hey, they say if we could do fundraisers and stuff to raise money for Mexico. He goes, and I talked to one of one of the staff, and she said, yeah, if we wanted to play live, if we want to play, he goes, we could play like Duran Duran, because they were hot at the moment, so there were a lot of people liked them,
Sure.
and he was into like some girl that he liked, and they were all into Duran Duran. So he's like, dude, if I play Duran Duran, these girls are probably gonna like me, you know?
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, you want to do the fundraiser for Duran Duran? And I was like, I don't know, bro, because like it's Duran Duran, you know. To me, it was like too poppy, you know,
Okay.
so I wasn't really like into it too much. So he started doing like auditions with other friends and stuff, and then he did it, but then it wasn't a fundraiser. It was like during the lunch break. He was gonna do like during the lunch break, and then he did it, and then I noticed that most of the girls were like, oh, like happy about it, and everything.
Sure,
It came out,
sure.
it was like, you know, but not a lot of people knew it, so then not a lot of people went to it. So then he wanted to do it longer, and like I think he only did like 1 or 2 songs, and then he goes, I want to do it longer, and I want to make it a little bit bigger. And then he goes, but I want you to be in it. And I was like, after I saw the girls and all that, I was like, well, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it with you.
I'm in now.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll do it. Yeah, dude, I'll do it. He's like, you gotta be the bass player, because I already have a guitarist, and I'm gonna be the lead singer this time. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool, man. You know, whatever, because I was the lead singer last time. So he's
Sure.
like, I go, that's cool, man, no problem, whatever. You know, as long as they know they're good, that's good. Then so he started doing all this advertising for it. He really pushed it. He really was like one of the ones that pushing forward towards it. And then we also got a girl band. They did Expose,
Oh, cool.
and they opened up for us. And man, they blew it out of the water.
Oh, sweet.
Those girls, man, so by the time we came in, they did like 2 or 3 songs, and then we did about 5 or 6 songs. We were supposed to do less because the girls want to do the end song, but my friends were like, no, man, because they already kicked their ass. I don't want them to come back and close the show for us, because now it's gonna be like their show.
Yeah.
So he's like, but could you tell them, because I don't feel like really talking to them or really. And I was like, I'll tell them, or like Mr. Macho, whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of went in there. I was like, you already played the first song. That's all you're gonna play, this and that. So I was kind of like the asshole, but those girls kind of end up hating me during the rest of the junior high times. And I was like, oh well, you came with the territory, I guess.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really didn't care, whatever.
Sure.
Plus I moved out, whatever. But so my friend and I did it, and then we were associated with that for a long time. It was like the Duran Duran Club, and then we started dressing up like them for that same reason. Because dude, it became. I mean, they were the girls from the junior high, so they really never went out or did anything. Mm-hmm. So it was like they treated us almost like if we were the celebrities, like if we were the actual group.
Wow.
Dude, we had the whole school
Just
in control, dude.
Huh?
Okay, so I was in. Him and I were in. My friend, him and I were in photo class.
Okay.
Okay, so we were the yearbook club. We were doing the pictures for the yearbook.
Okay.
Okay, our teacher for the yearbook staff started selling buttons with our faces on it.
Wow.
To the girls. And so we're walking around in the hallway, and they're wearing their buttons with their faces on it. And we're like, "What the hell? Where'd you get that?" He goes, "Oh, Mr. Barch gave it to us. He sold it. He's selling your buttons.
Dang.
Our buttons. What the?" So we went
pimping you guys
there,
out.
dude. He had
Wow.
he had a counter with our faces there, dude. And it was a trip. It was like, dude, what the hell? He was making money off of us, dude.
That's
And he was our yearbook staff teacher,
man.
our photography class
That's
teacher.
funny.
Yeah, and so it was weird to see our faces, on the buttons.
Sure. Yeah.
But and then you could see the loyalty of whose was what, And so to me, it was like kind of fun, kind of a trip.
I can imagine.
I did not expect that kind of, dude. It was like, we'll walk in, they'll be yelling, almost like if we were actual celebrities.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I didn't expect that to happen, But it was something, it just happened. So then I was like, well, I guess we have to dress this way and we got to do this way. So it kind of swayed me off of my heavier dressing kind of like I told you, I don't want to dress one way or the other.
Sure.
But
Okay.
at that time, I kind of felt forced because it was like,
you sold out.
yeah, I sold out because dude, there was so many girls. I was like, dude, and I didn't have a girlfriend, you know. It was like I liked a couple girlfriends, and I think I had a girlfriend, and I don't even remember why we broke up, but it was like early on, sixth grade. I think sixth or seventh grade we were together. We broke up, and then about 4 or 5 months later, this happened.
Oh.
So I really wasn't focused on like I want a girlfriend. I was focused on I like girls, you know, and then you know. So then with this happening, it was like, dude, I could choose who I want. You know, it was like it was really surprising to me. I was like, dude, I couldn't believe it, and I still wasn't really seeing anyone like that. You know,
That's cool, man.
and not until the year after is when I met
Okay.
my
Your long-term girl.
my lifetime girl. That's
Cool,
another
man.
story. but that was already the hype was already over.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't really like she was.
You were washed up.
I was no, but it wasn't why she was with me for that reason.
Sure.
She heard of it, but it wasn't like she didn't know about the buttons and all that stuff later. Because I asked her later, I go, "Do you?" Because I didn't know.
Sure.
You know, she went up. She's the one that came up to me and said, "Hey, can I get a picture of you?" I was like, "For what?" I just want a picture of you. I was like, "Okay." And then I would forget. I was doing my own thing with the other girls, whatever. And then one time she's like, after class, she's like, "I'm gonna follow you to your locker and you have to give me your picture." All right. And she said that while driving to work, she would look down like that. She was look. Driving back to college, she would look at her picture and say she started falling in love supposedly. And that's why she kept picking me up after school and taking me home, whatever, and we became a couple.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because of the Duran thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, so in a sense, which was good because it wasn't she wasn't for that hype or whatever, you know. But for a long time it was that, you know, and then by the time we went to high school, it was like, oh, you that Duran guys, huh? I was like, fuck. And then it became something like a negative thing because it was like,
Oh, you're getting teased.
yeah. And then it was like, oh shit. But then we still got for that time. At that time, we screwed up all the dudes at our school because they couldn't really hook up.
Killed it for 'em.
And then the guys were like, hey, what's up, Duran boys? And like, dude.
Now we getting back
I
at you.
got all your girls, bro. I got all your girls. I could get any of your girls, bro. And you know it. And they'll shut up, like, you know, because we had the power, dude.
Sure.
And we had the power. It was amazing that we had so much that we didn't know what we had.
Sure.
We took over everything, dude. Everything. The jocks and all across the board, dude.
That's funny.
And it wasn't like, and so when I started being with the teacher, for that reason, I didn't want her to go like the dances.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, I don't want you to ruin it for me because it was easy pickups.
Yeah.
So it was so easy. So I was like, most of them knew that I was with her, but then it was just a rumor.
Sure.
Until one day we walk out holding hands, and for our fault, we went to the local movies theater, and we walk out holding hands, and they saw us, and half of her class was there.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, damn, it is true. And from there on, it kind of ruined it for us. And then there was a lot of rumors in the schools.
Sure.
Administration called us in, and we're like, no, it's not real. And then so they gave her an ultimatum.
Sure.
And so they said, you either stay or you go. And then for me, that kind of ruined me because then they're like, well, yeah, you're the guy with the teacher. So then it became that. I was no longer the Duran guy, but I was into that. Gotcha. So it kind of ruined me in that sense, you know. So then, and then that's when I started getting like trying to sway away from that, and I started listening to more like heavier alternative rock, you know.
Okay.
So like Sisters of Mercy, stuff like that. So it became a little different. And I don't know if I did it constantly or it just happened, you know. But I was like, okay, enough of this genre. I still like them. I still like some of the songs they came out with. I still listen to them. I would still get their CDs or when they would come out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really the same. But they would always come out with one or two songs that I really really would like, and I was like, oh, this is a good composition they did for the song and this and that. So I would still see them live. I would still go see them live, and I would still listen to the music. I mean, it didn't knock me off from not listening to them anymore, but it was like a stain for a while, for a little while.
Gotcha. I thought that was like your go-to guys.
Oh,
I don't know why. I mean,
yeah.
It's you just growing up,
Yeah. Oh no, and then we did a bunch of live events for we would do lip singing also for like different shows. We did a contest for the church.
Oh.
They did a contest there, and we bought the number one prize was a bicycle, but there was 5 of us.
Oh.
So it was like, what do we do with this? So we had to sell the bike, and So and then we did it again. We did another contest there, and then we we got to know more girls that weren't actually in our high school, in our junior high. These girls were from probably another high school.
Sure.
No, I mean, they were from high school and junior high. So we met girls that were even older than us that we were like, even my mom was like, they're too old for you. She's going to come pick me up in my car. So that's when I met the teacher. It wasn't really a big deal because I already had girls that would come over like that, And I told her, well, she's going to pick me up. We're just going to go to the movies. What do you mean she's going to pick you up, But because we met them there. We met them at the, Los Pinos. There was place there was a movie theater, but that night they had like talent contest for kids and stuff like that. So we would join that, and we would win. We would always kind of win. The last time I think we did it, we lost towards the breakdancers. And we were done because we would go after we would play. We would take our break out behind the movie theaters, and those kids were breakdancing behind the movie theaters at one of the guys' house. And we told them about the contest. Like, we had a contest. So they joined because we told them to, and then they beat us. And I think that was like the end of that. Because I think we already did like 4 or 5 shows after that. And then we were like, dude, let's just end it from here. Sure. But then we also did it for the church. We did it like 2 shows for the St. Helens Church. And then we did it for that talent contest. We did a couple of those. But it was always lip singing. We never really played anything. Okay. I tried, but my sister bought me a right-handed guitar. And I tried my ass off to learn how to play. And I couldn't. So I figured out, I'm left-handed. I need to play a left-handed guitar. But I didn't understand. I didn't realize it. It took me a while to realize it. I had that guitar forever, and I just had it there. And then I didn't realize it till I actually moved to Palmdale. Wow. And I came to Palmdale, and I think someone told me, dude, you play left-handed. He's like, it was during Kurt Cobain. Oh. Because he plays left-handed. And they're like, Jimi Hendrix. They go, Jimi Hendrix too. And I didn't know this, And I was like, oh, shit. So then I remember going to Kinko's when there was still a Kinko's here. I went to Kinko's and I had the chords. Yeah. The whole chords chart, and I printed in reverse. And then I was like, okay, now I get it. And then I tried, and just my timing and my fingering, I couldn't get it, man. I tried my ass off, and I really, really, really wanted to play. I even bought a Les Paul, just like Slash and everything. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I couldn't really play that good, so then I could what? And then I'm gonna get a Stratocaster. Then I got a black Stratocaster, and I tried to play that one, and it was just. My fingers were just not in tune with it, and I just said, forget it, and I just let it go, man. I actually sold the guitar back to some pawn shop or something because I had it sitting there forever, and I just the more I tried, the more I couldn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't for me anymore. It's like I don't know if I was too older or just lost interest, but I really wanted to play guitar. That was one of the instruments I really wanted to play.
It takes patience, man. It takes. I think unless you're like really like excited about it, it could wear on you because speaking from experience, like you want to play something already. Yeah. Right. I want to just play something already. And even with like myself, late last year I started to really practice a lot of a piano and just going over scales, and I'm not really learning anything. But for me, I'm like, I just want to get this. Understand the keys and how I should move, and getting into the different the scales for each key. You have to skip because you got to go A through G, but some are flat, some are sharp, so you have to skip one, and if you don't, like, you can automatically hear like, oh man, that sounded horrible because I hit the wrong key. Yeah. But
it's hard, man. It's not easy.
It's absolutely not. Yeah. Man.
Especially if you're on your own, because if you're there by yourself, you just kind of get bored because you're going over and over by yourself,
But some people like myself, dude. I'm like I can just play even if I'm just doing scales, man. I just get caught up in the moment. Just spend 1 hour just not really playing against any song or anything that I know. But I'm just, I really find it enjoyable. Every individual person is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Did I'm curious about your experience with, like Morrissey with the Smiths. Did you ever get into?
Yes, I got into the Smiths. Towards their last 2 records, I got into the Smiths. Okay. And then I remember Morrissey. I got into really when I moved to Palmdale. I remember going to our next door neighbors had had a cabin up in Kern River,
Okay.
and I would listen to Morrissey a lot during that time. And then Girlfriend in a Coma,
Mm-hmm.
that was like my favorite song from them,
Okay.
from him. And I don't know what CD or that was on, but
Girlfriend in a Coma.
I remember you should listen to that one a lot. The whole thing. Meter's Murder,
Yeah.
that one.
Well,
the Smiths.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Smiths, yeah.
I can't remember the other albums. I think I still have some of the albums, but yeah, I got pretty heavy into Morrissey for a while.
Okay.
Um,
I think that falls in tune kind of for whatever reason with like the Spanish rock scene. Like
oh yeah, they did a lot of style.
like,
yeah.
like a
That's from the all that rebel stuff. That was that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I remember going back to because here it was a different style here from in Southgate.
Okay.
So I went back to Southgate and everyone was just that rebel.
Oh,
That style.
sure.
And it was that didn't catch up here till later. So for me, it was like, what the hell happened here? When I went back to Southgate, because it was like when I left Southgate, I think it was still Depeche Mode style.
Okay.
And then when I went back, it was just like the Levi's and the white T-shirt.
Yeah, the cuff jeans.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, what happened? Did we went to the 50s or what? So to me, it was like it tripped me out because up here it was totally different. Up here, it was primarily white people up here when I moved out. It was weird because when I moved out here, I felt like the minority. Like, wow, it was like it was me and maybe two other Latinos.
Wow.
In my, if you look at my yearbook, dude, it was like maybe there was like probably 3 or 4 black guys,
Wow.
black girls. Yeah, that's it. It was like totally different from now,
Okay, yeah.
And I remember when it became winter, all the girls would go to school and they would wear like they'll grab their blanket from their house and just put it on instead of a jacket.
Wow.
So they're all walking around with blankets. And I was like, the fuck, you never see this in Southgate.
Wow,
Because
yeah.
first of all, it doesn't get that cold. You're gonna
Sure.
wear a blanket. But I was like, what the fuck? And they're all wearing their snow boots, but they're wearing a blanket. And I was like, well, couldn't you buy a jacket? But that was suppose that was their style because they'll have the little hearts or the little
little design on
little
it.
design on it. So that's the reason the girls were more emphasizing on it.
It was a style.
It was a
thing more.
style up here of wearing a blanket. And I was like, you would never see that in Southgate, So it was like a shock to me. And then I was not in tune with that, so that style, whatever.
Right.
And like with me, when it first snowed here, I had no clue, I remember my dad knocking on my window, like 3 in the morning. He's like, Anthony. I was like, what? He goes, because we moved out here in summer, so we had no clue. And then he's like, look outside your window. Like, I'm all pissed off. I'm like, what do you mean? Look outside my window, 3 in the morning. What the fuck are you talking about? And I open it, and it's all white. And it's snowing, actually snowing at the time. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, awesome. And I run out the door, and I run to the front door, and my whole front yard is just like white.
That's cool.
And you do a little snowman, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was so awesome. It was like so majestic at that time. It was like,
Sure.
dude, I couldn't believe it. But in the morning, get up, I'm going to school. I had to walk, the bus used to pick us up in the corner of our blocks.
Yes, you have to go walk to the.
So here I am walking and walk out and slip on black rock. Bah! Black snow, I mean.
Like
Bah!
ice.
Hit my head, dude. Black ice. Hit myself in the head. I was like, oh shit, black on my
man.
head. And I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, I walked to I kneel myself towards the soft snow, the front lawn where I had grass. And I was like, oh shit, I only had tennis shoes. So those tennis shoes were made for snow,
Yeah.
So here I am walking maybe the whole block, the length of the block on everyone's lawn. Because, if I
Yeah,
walked
you
in
didn't
that
wanna
black
slip.
snow, man,
Yeah.
that sucker is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Black ice. And then the whole day I was shivering because that water gets into my leather tennis shoes. And I said, like, as soon as I get home, I told Dad, you gotta give me snow boots today, or I'm not going to school tomorrow. Because I am not going to go to my feet were freezing the whole day.
Wow.
And everyone prepared, so they had all their
Yeah,
snow
yeah.
boots and their waterproof boots and this and that. I had no clue. My friends were all laughing at me. It's like, well, how'd you know? I go, well, you guys know, no one ever told me. I'm not supposed to know, And everyone was prepared. I wasn't prepared. So you knew who wasn't from there.
Yeah.
The people that were not wearing the proper gear,
Yeah.
So to me, it was like a shock to wear that. So then when I went back to Southgate and then people were dressed different, I'm like, wait, it was another shock because I was like, what happened here? It's like from 1 year, because I just went to go visit, but it wasn't that long that I was gone. But people were like were all into Morrissey. They were all into that type of music. And I was like, wow, it's totally different from up here. Because up here, it was mostly Metallica and Guns N' Roses. So I saw the difference in groups,
And the difference in groups was, okay, so the people that were into like Morrissey, it was basically what you would see in the movie Grease.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I said.
And
I was like, did I Grease or Back to the Future? When he was back to the 50s.
oh yeah,
To
the
me, it was
first
like,
one,
yeah, that's like, what happened here?
yeah.
Like, yeah, am I Back to the Future?
And the people that were into Metallica, like the Heshers, right? They always had uh, a flannel.
Oh, okay,
Right,
the flannel shirt, yeah,
the flannel shirt
yeah,
wrapped
yeah.
around the waist and it's hanging in the back like a cape. Again, dude, it's interesting
And
how you could like
that was a
pinpoint.
primarily here.
Yeah,
See, we
exactly.
didn't really have that other crowd over here.
And I remember my first Hesher friend
Oh, really?
in North Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
When I started going to the 7th grade,
Okay.
he introduced me to Metallica. But I never followed up. He just told me, he's like, I listened
Oh,
to
okay.
Metallica. It was some Hispanic dude,
Uh-huh.
and I was just like, oh, you're into that music? Okay, cool. Like at that time I didn't have a style or anything.
Oh.
I was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because
But
Southgate
that
was
stood out to me.
95% Spanish for me.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it was weird to leave some. I didn't even expect that, but
Sure,
from
sure.
leaving to a primarily Spanish school
Yeah.
to this,
To
it was the
primary
opposite.
white,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it was different. So I was introduced to a lot of different styles, a lot of different music, But I never got introduced to Spanish rock yet. Even then.
And out here, when you got here,
Mhm.
what was there any like significant band or group that was
Metallica.
in the high school?
In high school, it was
Oh, okay.
Metallica and Guns N' Roses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I was already into them before I got here because that's what I was in
Right,
Southgate when I
right,
heard
right,
Guns N'
yeah.
Roses. I heard of Metallica, but I didn't really hear a lot of them.
Okay.
But until that friend I met here, and he was into it more. That's when I started listening to more of Metallica.
Oh.
But when I left Southgate, I was really into Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like when I saw that concert, man, it just changed my life.
When did you see them first?
88, 87?
Where?
At home.
You're
That's the other
talking
thing.
about the MTV
Yeah,
thing.
the other thing too that I thought about is like all of my friends, which I never really thought this but until later, but we always had cable, and I never thought like cable was a big deal, But primarily because I didn't really watch it because it was like my dad would watch TV and he was like in control of the control,
Sure.
and then my mom watched all these soap operas during the day,
Mhm.
so it's not like I had the control to watch HBO or Cinemax, whatever we watch, right? So when we did have a chance, it was whatever my older sister would watch, or my mom would watch, or my dad would watch, right? But when I had the chance, like I told you, when I ever had the chance to watch what I wanted to watch,
Yeah.
it was always MTV. I remember watching the first day of MTV.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember all those commercials that during like during their watches of cable, they would always promote MTV because it was barely going to come out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember the day that was going to come out, I was ready for it, and I was going to watch it. And I remember watching it, dude. And
What was the first episode?
the first song was Radio Store. The Buggles, I think it's called the band. That was the first out. That was the first song that
Yeah.
came out. And I remember
Wow.
sitting there and just watching it. And I remember they always show the rocket leaving.
Yeah.
And that was like dun, 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 and they played that, and I was like, I just couldn't wait. And they played the Buggles, and I was like, okay. And then the second song, I forgot who it was. Third song, who it was, and then Flock of Seagulls came out, and then I was like, okay.
Wow.
Then I was like, oh shit, this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
I want to
man.
listen to it, and I was like, oh man, and that kind of changed like my vision of everything because now I'm watching, like they're saying,
Yeah.
it's visually now. I was
Yes.
visual, and I was actually watching what I was listening to on K-Rock.
Yeah.
And I think it was K-Rock and the Mighty 690. That was
Okay.
and it was which was weird because I think we had Power 106, but it wasn't Power yet. It was like another type of music or something. It
Okay.
wasn't like what it was later,
Okay.
So it was Power 106, Mighty 690, and it was from TJ.
Wow.
And they used to play like alternative music.
Oh.
Like
wow.
Duran and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But it wasn't from here. It wasn't from LA yet.
Wow.
It was from there. And sometimes it would get cut off. Sometimes you went. So if anyone remembers that, I'm pretty sure they'll be like, oh shit, I do remember that.
Wow,
It was like,
dude.
they'll be like, the Mighty 690, Tijuana, Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah, and I found the calling card on YouTube one day, and I was like, and I listened to that all throughout my junior high and high school, but the first year of high school.
Uh-huh.
No, the first 2 years, because I moved out. I moved out my senior year,
Okay.
I moved out here. That's what time my dad, dude, wait one more year. I asked him if I could live with you guys
Oh.
for my senior year because I
Yeah.
wanted to go. I go, let me just finish my senior
Yeah,
year here.
yeah.
I went from elementary
Yeah,
to
dude.
11th grade in Southgate. I go, dude, I already have all my friends there. I know everyone there. We grew up, all of us grew up together, you know. And I go, can I just wait one more year? I don't want to go somewhere new my first year.
The last year.
The last year, dude. That's why when
That's
I moved out
rough.
here, I freaking hated it because
That's rough.
I came here already with a bad attitude that I don't want to be
Yeah,
here.
understandable.
So I had this grudge, you know, and I was like, let me just live with my aunt. The last year, and I could just go to school. I'll take the bus to school and whatever. And he's like, no, you gotta move out here. So I was like, dude. So I came here and I was like, nope, all negative,
right.
you know.
Sure. Yeah.
So and then by the time I moved out here, everyone had like, dude, they're seniors, so they already had their cliques of friends from before.
That's
So for me,
tough.
it was hard to just jump in and like, hey, what's up? And I
Yep.
was totally different from them.
Yeah.
I dressed different. I wore a lot of suits, like I was trying to be like NXS. so I really didn't click. There was no one like dressing like that, you know.
Oh,
Like
wow.
what the hell? I had long hair. I had long curly hair, and then I would wear like those blazers and stuff. And
Yeah.
so they were like, what the hell? That's why I bought that leather jacket, kind of like to kind of blend
mix
in,
it
you know,
up, yeah.
mix it up. So they didn't know where the hell I was at, because it was like one day it was this, the next day when I put my hair back in the ponytail, and then I would wear the leather jacket. I'm all rocker. And the next day I would wear the blazer and I had my hair down and I put it like this. And, you know, so they're like, what the hell, you know? So they're like, you know, they didn't know where to put me at. But
funny.
it was hard to meet a group of friends that were seniors because they're already seniors.
Absolutely.
So
man.
the guy that I met, we kind of clicked, but he was a year younger.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so we kind of clicked, but it wasn't the same as being friends with someone that was a senior itself. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but going back to when I was listening to the Mighty 690, that one. Okay, so then I would listen to a lot of that because that was the influence of MTV.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would listen to a lot of MTV and MTV. And I would always talk to my friends about it, and they really didn't have an idea because they didn't have MTV. But to me, it was like normal, you know. And then what I started to do is record it. I would record a lot of the episodes in VHS, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would lend some of my friends stuff because they didn't have it. But to me, it wasn't like, oh my god, I have MTV, you guys don't. I just thought, okay, I have MTV, I'm gonna record it so you guys can see the bands. Later on, like this is about 5 years ago, I went to my friend's house and I'm his godfather to his daughter, but I really don't see him that often, and he lives over there in Hemet.
Okay.
So I went over there. He goes, "Hey, I got something for you." I go, "What?" He goes, "Here's a couple of your VHSs."
Wow.
What the hell? He goes, "I actually stole some from you." He goes, "But some you lent me to." But I had so many, I lost because I would continue watching the new ones.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really like, okay, I'm gonna go back in my library and get the other.
Right.
He goes, "I stole a lot of them from you, and you lent me some, but I think you forgot, and I didn't tell you anything." He goes, "But these are the bands I really listen to a lot, and I thank you for it because," he goes, "But I didn't give it back to you because I don't know how other else I would be able to see these videos." This was before YouTube and all that. So he's like, so I grew up mostly because of these cassettes.
Wow.
And he's like, I felt bad taking them for you, but you already had MTV, and we didn't. And I was like, well, that's true. Like they didn't have it, so for them it was a bigger deal to have those cassettes, the VHS, because like with me with the CDs, you know, or the albums.
Yeah.
I was able to sit there and just and listen to them over and over. And yes, he told me, he goes, I play them so much, you know, even my girlfriends would get mad because I was just like, he'll play them while they're there, and then but because he had nothing else.
Yeah.
So anything that was visual TV, he would put the same cassettes over and over again. So they were like, again with those, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that's all he had, and I was like, wow, and it kind of surprised me. I was like, well, I didn't know that I influenced that much to listen to, because I only recorded what I liked.
Sure.
I wasn't recording what they liked, but then they got into whatever I liked.
Right.
So he sends me a picture. He goes, "Hey, look how I met," and it was one of he lives over there in Hemet, and so there's a casino that's there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bands that play there now that they're older.
Yeah.
And it was one of the guys. Well, actually, it was Gina's Jezebel. It was the band of Gina's Jezebel, and I was like.
Oh.
And he's all hugging him, and I go, "You fucking met him?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, and I wouldn't have known this because it wasn't for your cassettes.
That's cool.
And I was like, "Oh, dude, that's kind of cool." And I kind of felt proud, you know. I was like,
yeah.
"Dude, I influenced to that point that even now he went to go see him live."
That's awesome, man.
You know.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's kind of cool, man," because I didn't know it affected that much.
Yeah.
You know.
Music is special.
And
man.
I was never like, "Oh yeah, I got cable." You don't, because I didn't feel like it was like that, you know. Cause I just felt like, oh cool, I'm able to record from MTV.
I think at that age, you're kind of like, dude, check this out.
Mhm.
Dude, check this out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
friends are kind of sharing.
Yeah. So it wasn't like, you know, look what I have and you don't, you know.
Right.
And I even forgot. Like I was trying to even forgot I have the cassettes.
Yeah.
You know, and he goes, oh yeah, he goes, it was me and Freddie. He goes, me and Freddie took them from you. And I was like, but the other guy has never told me anything, but he did. He came back and he goes, look, I want to return this to you. And I was like, what's this? And he told me the whole story, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you have them.
That's fine.
And he goes, well, that's all I had. I was like, shit, no, that's crazy, dude. And
did you get them back?
yeah, he came back to me that day.
Oh, have you seen them?
No, I still have them, but I never played them.
Oh,
To this day.
watch them,
Yeah, it's a VHS. I don't even have a VHS player.
we have one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'll bring them one day then.
Awesome,
Trip out.
dude.
But yeah, dude, it was a lot of stuff that I liked, and you know, badly recordings, but
Of course,
it's still
man.
there. It's,
Oh my goodness.
but
dude.
it was surprising me to that so many years later, you know, that came back to me, and it was like,
that's cool, man.
wow, I had that influence of that person to that point, you know, and he's like,
yeah.
because he didn't really buy music, you know, he had less
Sure, resources.
so he didn't really buy a lot, so that was his control over music, I guess, to play it over and over again.
And like playing it over and over, like what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's all you have.
That's all you have, yeah. He had like 4 of them, dude, and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
I think even for myself, that's what it was with the Guns N' Roses album. Is that at that time, it wasn't like I had a huge collection. I just happened to come across $2 some way, somehow.
Just like that.
And then, bam, that thing just got played.
Wow.
And I didn't think to like, oh, let me go explore some more. Like, that album was just so satisfying. Like,
just focus on that.
This is it. This is all I'm listening to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. I can't believe you were like really to that point into him that much.
Yeah, man. It was the first album I ever got, dude, on tape.
Damn.
Cassette tape.
Now you were still in Southgate in Pioneer Park?
No. You
moved out here
It
already?
was up here. Yeah, we were up in Palmdale already. Because I
wow.
started. It was my freshman year of high school, and I was just like, man, this thing just carried me through.
Yeah.
And then.
So you never went to my house when I had the posters up?
I might have. I'm sure. I probably did.
I'm pretty sure you saw the posters then.
More than likely.
Remember, yeah.
More than likely, but it didn't click until I was out shopping for myself. You know, finally, I like.
That's a trip. Do you like them that much? Because I did. I mean,
I
for a while, dude. I was all into too.
And it was just from again the album artwork for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like hear from the grapevine or anything or anybody saying anything. I was just like, oh, that looks cool, man. I got money.
Yeah. By the time I went, by the time I went back, and I was telling people about Guns N' Roses, no one knew about it in high school.
Wow.
That's to the point. I was like, dude, this band is. They were on the radio yet.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. Yeah.
Damn,
TV was a break.
I love that. I was able to see
MTV
that time. Yeah, loved it.
That's
Great
awesome,
time.
man. Cool, dude. Well, we're coming toward the end of the video here. Let me just close it out, and then
I want some more.
We're gonna have to keep going with the music thing, man, because it's just awesome. Music is really special. I'm sure we're not the only ones that feel an extreme connection to a band or song. And this topic, man, I love talking about music, dude. But to the audience, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video and you want to show some love, the best way to do so is to pick up some merch. Link to the shop will be in the description below. If you want to get in touch with me for a commission, you can do so through Instagram or through email. And lastly, feel free to share the video and spread the word about the channel. I greatly appreciate the support in helping the channel grow. Anthony, you want to say anything in closing out here?
Yeah, I think it was fun talking to you about this.
Yeah, I can
surprising that we didn't have this connection before, but or at least talking about it because we always talked about everything.
Yeah. I can hear the excitement.
Been a lot of years. Man. We've talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the beauty of this that has developed, right? Like we get to experience some other cool experience out of me just saying, hey dude, I have some art videos I need to record some audio for. So awesome, dude. Yeah,
keep
man,
it
we'll
up.
Continue some more,
it's
man.
Fun. Keep it up, man. I like it.
My pleasure, dude.
Been fun.
So to everyone out there in this amazing spiral, take care, enjoy life, and be kind.